Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm going to show you in this video segment how to replace the primary and the secondary filter in a Hino. If you're not a subscriber, hit that little button, become a subscriber right away. Let's get started. As you can see, of course we have a filter here, but we also have a filter here that we're going to replace as well. Now this filter here gets replaced more often than this filter back here. But I want to show you how to replace both of them, so when that time comes, you can do it yourself. We're going to use a 12mm socket to remove this nut and these two bolts here. And basically what you want to do is just get this bracket here out of the way so you can remove the filter. And we're just gonna pop it loose here. Just move this little clip. Just move this out the way. There we go. Just gonna move it to the side. Just have some flexibility here. Make sure you put a drain pan underneath. And I'm gonna break it loose with our filter wrench. Guys, I gotta tell you, it's a little tight trying to get a filter wrench in here, but just take your time. This is the worst part of the job, guys. What I'm gonna do, I'm just going to remove this line here. I'm not going to remove it, but I'm just going to break it loose here so I can have some flexibility, because it's actually running on the side right here at the bottom, and you need just a tab, like a 1/8 of an inch, to actually have more room to get the filter in and out. And I don't want to have any complications of putting the new filter back in. So we're going to use a 7/8 socket, or you can use a 21mm. I'm just going to leave it loose, and keep in mind you have a washer underneath this line here, so you don't want to lose that. Just going to pull out my bolt so I can just have a little flexibility. This filter is the worst part of the job. I want to point out, when you remove the old fill filter, just make sure that this ring comes off with the old fill filter and it's not left on the mount of the housing. That is definitely important. You don't want to put the new filter up against the O-ring, the old O-ring. And on the bottom, removing it, we use a regular filter wrench, but to actually put it back on, we're going to use a 9/16 ratchet wrench, and this comes in handy to actually, you can put it on the bottom nut here, the bottom bolt, and actually tighten it right on up, and you'll appreciate this a lot more than this, because this is going to be really hard to get in and out. And I just want to save you some time. Go ahead and try to get you a ratchet 9/16 wrench to screw this back on, or borrow one from a friend. Just a little known tip. Here's our new filter, and it's the part number, and I got it straight from the dealer. Now what I like to do I like to keep plugs around just for fuel filters. And what I'm gonna do, it'll help if you have a perfect plug the size that will fit inside of the hole here. And I like to keep a clean bucket of diesel fuel and just drop the filter inside. And let it prime itself. After that, I can just install the filter. Just make sure all the air is out. There we go. We're just gonna put our filter back in place. And we're just gonna turn our filter by hand. Guys, this is a good way to get that filter tightened back in. Make sure our washer is there. And make sure we got that tight. Okay. All right, just make sure you put your nut back on and your brace, your fittings. We're gonna put our bolts back in place. Again, we need a 12 millimeter. That's all it takes to do this one, the primary, and then we'll go to the secondary. Well, that's all it takes to replace the main filter on your vehicle. Now keep in mind, when you replace that filter, your vehicle may not start up right away, so you're gonna have to try a couple times, but it will eventually start up. So I just want you to be aware of that. Now, we're gonna start on the chassis filter, and we're gonna remove it. And there's a special tool that we're gonna use, and this is the part number. You can get this tool for most local auto parts stores. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna use this section here to remove the main carter here, the lock, and this section here is actually made for the top cap here, but we won't need this for this because it doesn't match up. This cap here, we're fortunate enough that we can actually just take some vice grips, or we can unscrew it with our hand. What we're gonna do, and the only thing you have to do is just put it on here, break it loose. But what we're gonna do first, we're just gonna drain. I'm gonna get something to catch some of this fuel. We're gonna drain it out. And I just want you to see what it's gonna look like. Look at that. Now that's what you're gonna get. And that is at the bottom of the bowl. Make sure you drain out everything. This is the opportunity to get rid of it. So we're gonna go back with the recommended diesel fuel. Just gonna lift this right up. Pull our filter right on out. Drop it in the bucket. This is our new filter, and you see the part number. I don't have to print that, I just show it to you. And the price, the general price that you will actually purchase for this filter. Now the filter comes with 3 O-rings. So right now we just put our new filter back in the housing. Now the only 2 O-rings I'm gonna need is the one here, comes out from the bottom, and one here for the cap. So all I'm gonna do is put my new O-ring back in place here. Just put it inside. And while I have it there, I'm just gonna go ahead and screw it back on. It's time for me to shut this off now. Just want to tighten it up with my wrench. Make sure it's good and tight. We're going to remove our old O-ring, put on our new one. I'm going to use fresh, clean diesel fuel. Now, if you are using bio diesel, make sure you check with your local dealer and make sure that's okay, and just see what they have to say about that. Try to pour it in here without making a mess. As you can see, it's trying to bleed out. It's actually bleeding. And you may make a mess, but it will drain down. Don't worry about that. And if it don't, once you fire it up, it'll work its way out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the cap back on. We're gonna start the vehicle, and we're gonna let the vehicle run for 3 to 4 minutes. Just want to make sure we have any leaks. We have no leaks on the main filter. Everything looks good on the chassis filter. Like I said, just let it run at least 3 or 4 minutes. Again, you have a level line up here. It's on the other side. And when it gets up to that line, it's actually time for it to be changed, guys. So if you notice on your bowl, it said filter change, and it's right up here somewhere. And when it raises up there and it stays there, it's time to change your filter. Or every 20,000 miles, whichever's first. Well, that's all you have to do to replace your fuel filter in your Hino. And I have to admit, the main filter, normally when I install that, the vehicle will not start right away. So do not be alarmed. Just try a couple times and it will start, and let it run 3 to 4 minutes. And I want to say, if you're using biodiesel, make sure you contact your local dealer and just let them advise you on a proper way of doing that. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe. Take care, and God bless.